All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. I remember when I was much younger, my mother of blessed memory taught me a lesson about raising children. I was little. And she told me sometimes you're going to have to let your child struggle with their own frustration. You can't run to solve the child's problem every single time they cry. I was little, and my mother was telling me these lessons. I really had never thought about this until now, but it's interesting. She was just preparing me to say, hey, sometimes the child's got to know frustration, and she went on to explain to me that sometimes the baby will want to, breastfeed, and it's like it's not time, so you have to, kind of discipline the child to endure their hunger pangs until it's time to eat. And when you start at that level, by the time the child is 2 years old, right, they already know discipline. They already have a way of self-regulating. But in the beginning, you have to betray your maternal instincts to satisfy the baby immediately, right? And so when we age and we mature in life and we haven't been introduced to self-discipline and self-mastery in that way, well, then we end up thinking that, all suffering is bad. Because I'm uncomfortable, it must mean that someone is trying to attack me. Because I'm uncomfortable, it must mean that everyone is opposing me. Because I'm uncomfortable, it must mean that the world is coming crashing down, everything. But because we just weren't, conditioned from an early age to understand that you have to endure a little bit of suffering in order to get, a little bit of reward. And so it reminds me of this wonderful proverb that tells us that as a mother suffers before giving birth to a brilliant child, so does the devotee suffer before giving birth to great wisdom. You've got to be able to suffer in order to manifest the brilliant vision that you brought from the heavenly realm. You got to suffer to, go through the gestation process of your bright idea and your meaningful contribution. Just because it's valuable, just because it's meaningful, just because it's helpful, doesn't mean that it's going to be easy for you to give birth to it. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy for the world to embrace it. The whole process of you giving birth to it, manifesting it, and then dealing with people's response to it might be laden with difficulty, strife, suffering. It might be, depending on what you've chosen to bring into the world, it might be difficult and painful, from A to Z. That's just part of the deal. It all depends on what you've chosen. But the reason why I'm producing this lesson for you right now is because my job, my duty as your Babalawo is not to mitigate your suffering. It's my job to recognize I didn't choose your destiny for you. You chose your destiny. And you've made 100,000 decisions to bring you to the crossroads of life that you're at right now. And even though it might be just popping off with all kinds of fireworks, that doesn't mean that my job is to wade in and cover you up and make sure that you don't, break a nail or get scratched or none of that. My duty is to show you how to duck. My duty is to arm you, give you a shield. My duty is to guide you and school you on better tactics on where to be to get the advantage. That is part of my duty, right? And so you got to understand that so that you can engage with me in the proper way. You need to manage your own expectations of what your Babalawo is supposed to do for you. I'm not supposed to pluck you out of the difficulties that you have chosen for yourself. And I'm not there to give you coping mechanisms to just stay there and deal with it. I am there to help you to figure out how to muster within yourself the tactics, the discipline, the courage, the willingness to do what's necessary to go from where you are to where you're going to be. That is the difference between a person who is really trying to help you to triumph in life and a person who's just trying to coddle you and have you as a cash cow for the rest of your life. That's the difference. I want you to overcome the perceived limitations within yourself. I want you to overcome your own misguided expectations that will make you weak in the face of what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be strong. You chose this destiny. Now face everything that comes with it, the good and the bad, the bitter and the sweet. That's my duty as your Babalawo. Help you find those resources within you. Help you find those resources within your lineage. To help you find those resources within the practice and the tradition. There are all these resources, but you're going to have to draw those resources in and use them as opposed to be trying to escape and say, because, I made 80,000 decisions that put me way over here facing this direction. Now I want you to magically just put me over there and face another direction overnight. We're defying the law of reality. And Ifa is not contradictory to the law of reality. Ifa is not something that operates outside of the laws that govern the universe. Ifa is going to put you in total alignment with those laws. But you got to be ready, willing, and able to do all of the things that are necessary to manifest your great vision. Some of that includes your ability to endure suffering. It's that simple. The question that I want to ask you, and this is something that I always ask my students in our studies of the sacred text, the Odu Ifa. How are you being transformed as a result of this experience? It may be unpleasant for you, but when you reflect on who you are and how you show up now as a result of that experience, how have you been transformed? How is your thinking different? How is your emotional constitution different? How is your physical body different as a result of this experience? That's where you're going to get the value of that experience. Because experiences create values. And all these things that you're suffering are helping you to cultivate certain values for doing things in a certain way and not doing things in a certain way, for showing up in a certain way and not showing up in another way. So as always, this is a lesson for the leaders. I'm sending this out to all the people who are really ready to face what it takes to make a meaningful contribution to your own life and to the lives of the people who you're destined to serve. If you're one of those folks who wants to improve the world through positive influence, I want you to find out how Oloye, Obafemi Origuwa, and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life to the highest level possible. Visit me today at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com, and let's start working together to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odabo.